Welcome to the Tax Sale Podcast, where tax sale investing is made easy. My name is Casey Denman. I'm a tax sale veteran. I am the leading tax sale expert. I'm the author of the Tax Sale Playbook, founder of the Tax Sale Academy, and I am your host right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast episode. As a reminder, this podcast can be found on a number of different platforms, including Spotify Video, YouTube, Apple Podcast, or wherever else podcasts can be found. So make sure you subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting or video platform, and you can do that by going to taxsellepodcast.com. All right, on today's episode, I want to discuss how to correctly enter a brand new tax sale market. If you follow this podcast for any period of time, you likely know my opinion on investing in multiple markets. Now, I write about this in Tax Sale Playbook, but in short, when I first got started in this business, I invested in one market. That was my local hometown market. Very quickly, I realized my income had hit a ceiling. It was capped. So what I do? I expanded to another county and another county. And then I expanded to another state and another state and another state. Over the years, I've invested in hundreds of different markets. Now, I always make the suggestion to expand market areas to new investors when they reach that same cap. But there's certainly more to it than just picking a random spot on a map and buying tax defaulted real estate. I like to compare it to moving. Let's say that you have the ability to move anywhere in the world. What is the first thing that you're going to do? Now, unless you enjoy lots of spontaneity and perhaps even a little bit of danger, you probably aren't going to just pick a random spot and start moving there. You'll likely spend lots of time doing research about different areas. What part of the country, the climate, the lifestyle, all that type of stuff. And then you would narrow it down to exactly where you want to live. And that's an entirely new set of research. Then you might decide on the specific neighborhood you want to live in that area. Then the specific house as you keep dialing it down. That's a lot of research. Yet, when a lot of investors go from one area to the next, they fail in that category. In fact, they usually fail miserably when it comes to researching the new area. And then they sit back and they wonder, why am I losing money? Why am I having this new issue or that new issue? I hear about all of this type of stuff on a near daily basis. So, how do you properly go into a new tax sale market? The truth is the same exact way that you started in your own market. The difference here is that you must understand and accept the fact that you subconsciously already know quite a bit about the area that you live in. Especially if you've lived there for any period of time. You know the good spots in town, the bad spots in town, where all the stores are at, where the development is going. You know the laws, the customs, the traditions, the economy, the marketplace. You already have a huge head start on anybody else brand new coming to that area, even if you don't yet realize it. So when you enter a brand new market, it's so crucial to take the time to learn all of this. So I want to go over just a few things that you need to take the time to learn as you enter a new tax sale market. The first one is the state's tax sale laws. It is nearly unbelievable to me the amount of questions I get from active tax sale investors where the answer is very, very obvious in the state's tax sale laws. Now, obviously, they might just be lazy people and not want to take the time to look, so instead they just ask somebody else. That's their solution. The problem is that these folks are buying and selling tax defaulted real estate, and they have not even taken an hour or two to read those state laws. The very text that dictates what they can and can't do in their business. There's absolutely no excuse for this, and the truth is, these types of people are the same ones that are going to badmouth this industry when something doesn't go their way. Anytime you enter a new state, you must absolutely sit down and read their tax sale laws. Just go to Google, type in Texas tax sale laws or Virginia tax sale laws or whatever state you're looking at, followed by tax sale laws. More than likely, you can have all the laws right there on the first page of Google, click a button and start reading through them. Yes, they are boring. But reading through these is the very first thing that you must do before you start investing in any new market. Read them, learn them, and analyze them before you proceed. On top of reading the state tax sale laws, take a look at the various county websites. Determine what the typical process is. In some states, you simply log on to something like Real Auction or some other website, register, and you start bidding. In other states, it takes a lot more effort to get the tax sale list and then to attend the auction. And spoiler alert here, more effort usually means better deals because a lot of people are lazy. But figure out the process, figure out the traditions. The laws are one thing, but understand the rules in addition to the laws. Understand how they actually operate while narrowing it down to a few specific counties. Now, as far as narrowing it down to those counties, what I'll usually do is a quick look at the map. Now, I do have many members inside the academy who've seen a lot of success in larger markets, but I personally have had more success in the small to mid-sized markets. So that's typically going to be where I start. Obviously, as I tell my members, do what works best for you, but begin to narrow it down to some counties. From there, I actually tend to start working a little bit backwards here. I'll take a look at the tax sale results from the previous years or previous months, depending on how often they hold their tax sales, just to see if it's a viable area for me to invest. Regardless of the area that you're investing in, you should know how to perform valuations, even if they're super rough figures, until you actually start researching properties for yourself. But valuing real estate is just about the same no matter where you're at. You just have to use different tools to get the data needed. But you should know how to value real estate. Again, these aren't evaluations that decide exactly how much you should spend to the penny, but instead, you're going to just work some quick numbers up to see if there was any profit in the properties that were sold at the previous tax sales. So for example, if the house is worth a ballpark of 150 grand and it sold for 100,000 bucks, you know it's profitable. If the house was worth 150 and it sold for 170, you know it's not profitable. It's definitely not rocket science. Go through a good sampling of those properties, however, before deciding if this is going to be a viable area for you to invest or not. You're going to come across some areas where it's simply not profitable at all. Everybody overspends on those properties. Now, other areas you're going to come across, and it might be profitable based on your objectives. Maybe you have a different angle. Maybe you go after the lots instead of the homes or whatever it might be. And then, of course, you come across those real sweet spots where you can make lots of money at properties in that area based on the previous auction results, and that's probably where you put a lot of your focus. Now, once you have identified your preferred market, it's time to dig in a little bit deeper to the general market in that specific area. So what you want to do is review the local laws, ordinances, and traditions. Now, I've told this story before where I received like 20 or 30 citations in the mail for failing to clear the sidewalk of snow in front of a lot that I purchased inside the city limits in a northern state. Now, what happened here was an officer had driven by every single day. He took out his clipboard, wrote a citation, and then he mailed them all into a bundle to my P.O. box. One day I checked the P.O. box. There it is, a whole pile of citations. Of course, being from Florida, I had no idea that laws like that even existed. Obviously, it's very, very important, right? To me, I've never thought about clearing snow off a sidewalk because we don't get snow in Florida. But failing to clear the snow forces people to walk into the roadway to avoid my dangerous sidewalk. And of course, it becomes a dangerous situation for everybody walking in front of my lot. I completely get it now, but I didn't know it existed at that time. This is a classic example of ignorance. I was ignorant when it came to that specific area. I did not research the local laws. I did not research the ordinances. And I had the same deal with some weed violations many, many years ago. This is all stuff that can easily be researched and should have been. I just didn't take the time to do it. So you need to become familiar with the expectations of the local government. I've seen countless people buy homes that were scheduled to be torn down a week or two later. I actually write about this story in Tax Sale Playbook as well when that situation happened to yours truly. So I'm not telling you this information, all these stories to say, look at me, I made these mistakes. I'm telling you this so hopefully you will take the time to do what I did not do back early in my career, and you'll call the county, you'll research their ordinances, you'll find out what goes on in the county that you're investing in or in the city limits that you're investing in so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. You also need to know the local laws when it comes to real estate specific stuff like what size lots are you able to build on? What are the laws regarding septic tanks? What are the laws regarding water wells, zoning, land uses? All of that kind of stuff you need to research. From there, I generally try to get a feel for the community. It can look good in official records, right? We can research the laws. We can really take a look at the property and say, this looks profitable. But if there's a negative migration in the entire area, it's not going to be good for us. Now, we might be able to make something work in the very short term, but this obviously impacts our objectives if everybody's leaving the city. So we must look at the city as a whole. Is it thriving? Is it surviving? Or is that city dying? Obviously, these must play a factor into your objectives when you start investing there. Now, from that point, we need to look at specific sections of town. This can be done simply by driving around, whether in person or on Google Street View. Now, I've always said that properties offered at tax sales, when you compare them to the conventional market transactions, the properties offered at a tax sale have a significantly higher concentration of lousy or worthless properties. Many of those are because they're in very, very bad, dilapidated areas. Learning each of the different areas in town is a great way to get a feel for the market. And again, maybe your objective is to buy and sell in the worst parts of town. That does not matter, but what matters here is how familiar you are with the city or the county. On that same token, learn about the latest news in that area. Where do all the murders occur, if there are any? Where's the redevelopment happening at? Where's the new construction happening? Where's that new Amazon distribution center that everybody's talking about going in at? What roadways are scheduled to be widened? Where is the new retail construction going in for the nationally known companies, which, by the way, is a fantastic indicator since they usually have a very large budget for that types of research. From there, you can narrow it down to specific subdivisions, again, by actually driving through them in a vehicle or by utilizing something like Google Street View. Go on Zillow, go on Realtor.com, browse through the listings, both the active listings and the listings that have recently sold. See what stuff is selling for. Learn the trends. Pay attention to where the properties are being remodeled. Pay attention to where all the dilapidated homes are and what they're selling for. Now, at this point, if you did it correctly, if you did it thoroughly, if you actually took the time to do it as deep as you needed to, you should have an incredibly strong grasp on the new market you're about to enter and what exactly it is doing. The entire idea here is that you're putting forth the time to research the market properly. People ask me all the time if they should buy this property or that property or how much they should pay. The fact is that it should never be only about the specific property. You must take a holistic approach to that investment. There's more to real estate than the plot of dirt you're contemplating buying. Making a decision on that specific piece of dirt or that house without factoring in everything else is a fast track to failure. But if you do take the time and you do put in the effort to learn everything possible about that market, you will quickly be able to transition from one area to the next, all while cherry picking the most profitable properties and increasing your income. That's all I've got for today, folks. I truly hope that you've enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please take just a few seconds out of your day to leave us some positive feedback on whatever platform you're listening to us on right now. Now, we don't charge a membership fee or do any outside ads on these episodes, so your feedback truly means a great deal to us and might even serve to help pay it forward to someone else who gets into this business simply because you took the time to tap a 5-star review or leave a positive comment. And as always, to learn more about investing in tax-defaulted real estate and to get our most advanced training, just head on over to taxsaleacademy.com where you can join the Tax Sale Academy. Hey, take care and make it a successful day. We'll see you next time right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Bye-bye.